A Democrat-backed judge wins a high-stakes Wisconsin Supreme Court case. This means that the first time in 15 years there will be a liberal majority of justices. This as the court is set to consider major cases on abortions and voter rights. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Janet Protasewicz defeated conservative Dan Kelly. The new court is expected to decide a pending lawsuit that challenges the state's 1949 law banning abortion. The newly elected judge made the issue a focus of her campaign. She won support of Planned Parenthood and other pro-abortion groups. And joining me now is Caitlin Connors, Southern Regional Director at the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. Caitlin, always a pleasure to talk to you. Let's start with this Wisconsin. You know, this was an election, high-stakes case, and the outcome is not good for pro-lifers, correct?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the time and being able to talk with you. But you're right. This is certainly disappointing, these results that we were seeing out of Wisconsin last night. What I would like to highlight, though, is the amount of spending done in this race. $42 million spent overall, which makes it the most expensive court race in national history. And a third of her advertising, Janet Protasewicz advertising, was on abortion. She made abortion a key issue in her race for this judicial seat. And so it's unfortunate to see a judicial candidate running as a legislative candidate where her personal views on issues are so centered to her campaign as opposed to being an impartial character when she will be up on the bench and having to give rulings on really hot button issues such as the abortion law in Wisconsin. So yes, it was disappointing. But when we look at the facts and the reality of the situation, the amount of money spent, the emphasis put on abortion in this case, and her willingness to campaign like a legislative candidate, it's also an unfortunate situation just in terms of our judicial elections.
We also wanted to ask you about the good news coming out of West Virginia's governor, who recently signed a measure to help support mothers during pregnancy and even after a child is born. What can you tell us about this bill?
Yes, it is good news. So last week, Governor Jim Justice of West Virginia signed into law HB 2002, which sets up a mechanism for funding for sort of like an alternatives to abortion program in the state of West Virginia. So it allows for funding to go towards pregnancy centers and other life-affirming entities in the state. And we all know pregnancy centers well, and the real tangible work that they do for women and children in their state in terms of giving medical care, material assistance, counseling, financial aid, all of those wonderful things that our pregnancy centers and life-affirming organizations in our states do. So now in West Virginia, there's going to be an allocation of $1 million going towards them as they get this program started. The bill also increases their adoption tax credit, so from $4,000 to $5,000, and it extends that to kinship adoptions, which is a high rate of the adoptions in the state of West Virginia. So it's a holistically very good bill. We're so thrilled that it's been signed into law and all of the work put into it. Delegate Jean Jeffries holding that bill. And so just to see it come to fruition and know that this is really going to tangibly go towards the aid of moms and babies in the state of West Virginia.
And are we hearing about any other states considering similar measures?
Yes, absolutely. There has
Wonderful.
been such an incredible momentum across the United States as we've seen state legislatures come into session this year. We're in the Dobbs era where states are finally able to protect life. And so many states have enacted those laws to protect unborn children from abortion and are going further now to create a real culture of life in their state. So we're seeing across the board measures on adoption and foster care reform, postpartum Medicaid coverage for women. We're seeing paid family leave initiatives. We're seeing tax credits for donations to pregnancy centers, life-affirming organizations. We're seeing just across the board real tangible measures that are going towards supporting moms and creating this culture of life in the United States. So it has been incredible to see, and the amount of leadership that we are seeing from our elected officials, from governors and attorneys general, across the country has been truly something to witness.
And I'm sure you're watching very closely the Democrats up on Capitol Hill as they want to bring back the Women's Health Protection Act and other pro-abortion measures like that.
Yeah, we have to continue to be diligent in our fight. Obviously, prayer is so important in this effort and the spiritual warfare that we're seeing at the state level and at the federal level. So we continue to fight for that, to just educate the public on the truth of the pro-life movement, how we are pro-woman, and these pro-life safety net policies we're seeing enacted across these different levels of government across different states are only a testament to that. So we want to continue to drive home that message and show, the entire electorate that the pro-life movement is pro-woman, and we are working actively to fulfill that.
Well, Caitlin Connors, Southern Regional Director at Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight.
Absolutely. Thank you.